Yeah, good young player. He has quality around goal. He's a natural finisher. He's mobile, so he can move. He's athletic, and then individually he can kind of create for himself as well off the dribble if he needs to. So good profile. Again, good young player, has quality. Gives us another attacking option, short term and long term. And obviously made sense because we're using that U22 mechanism to continue to build a more robust and competitive roster.
You guys are back on the road now for the first time in 4 games. So does that bring any challenges? And then, if so, how do you guys prepare for that?
No, we've been good on the road. I'm not worried about that because the confidence is good on the road. We've gotten results on the road, so the belief will be there. And I think the challenge is in the last 2 games we're playing 2 very good teams. Obviously in LAFC and Columbus, 2 of the better teams in the league. And you saw last game. We kind of had to be perfect, to win the game, and we made 1 mistake. Played well enough to get a result in the game. But we got punished for the 1 mistake we made. So when you're playing teams, like LAFC and Columbus, you have to play well, and the margins are tighter, and you have to make sure that you don't make mistakes. But if we play like we did last game, and even a little bit better, which I think we will, because we've had another week, we're going to be in a position to take the result.
All right, we'll start with questions on the Zoom. First, we'll go to Frank DeLapa. He'll be followed by Sam Minton. Frank, you're unmuted.
Carlos expressed some frustration after the last game, but he said he hopes the team can get back to a high level. What's your take maybe on Carlos's frustration, and also your take on where the team stands at this point in the season?
Yeah, everybody's frustrated when you lose. I don't think that's abnormal. So that's why I was just trying to clarify the question, because I don't know what you're talking about. Other than, of course, everybody. I was frustrated after the game. The whole team's frustrated when you lose. That's just normal. So, but Carlos's attitude has been great. So it's nothing abnormal, if that's what you're asking, with regards to him. Being upset about losing a game.
Next, we'll go to Sam Minton. Sam, you're unmuted.
Hello, Caleb. I hope you're doing well. I guess kind of in regards to Dort Bergman, you kind of mentioned he has the ability to kind of create on his own. So do you feel that he's someone who can perform well as a striker by himself, or do you see him potentially, being able to combine with Leo Campana up top, or kind of a mix of both?
Yeah, I think he's versatile. So I think he can play alone, he can play together in a 2-front. He can even play wide, so I think he's versatile. His profile isn't one-dimensional. We're probably going to have him for 4 or 5 games this year, so I think it's important for people to realize that. And he is a 21-year-old player transitioning to a new team, a new league. So you'll probably see more of an impact in the future, but it's great to have him to close the year out. Gives us another option, and as you can see, we're a little light, in the front part of our team in terms of depth.
Sam, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, and just kind of following up on Frank's question, Carlos mentioned that kind of things need to change considering the performances of the last kind of 2 years. I guess from your standpoint, what needs to change to kind of get this team back to performing well and kind of contending, whether it be at the top of the Eastern Conference or for an MLS Cup?
Yeah, win. We need to win. That's what needs to change. I think the performances have been pretty consistent, but we're not getting results. We're not getting rewarded for that. So we need to win.
Yeah, as you said, the previous games were really solid and compact, and that's the key, to build from there, and then try to see if we can find moments to try to score from maybe transition or something.
some of the guys have talked too about how at this point in the season, with the points that are left on the board, every game kind of like a final. Is that sort of the mindset for the group right now, with just the importance of the games coming up? Is every game a final?
Yeah, of course, that's the mindset. One game at a time, and then just try to not focus on the rest of the games and just take the one that is in front of us right now.
And going into an atmosphere like Columbus, how do you just, stay mentally tough when you're there? And can that sometimes be a little more motivating when you're somewhere where a team is, pretty strong at home?
The most important thing is just not to get carried away with the crowd, and we know, of course, if you stay strong and win some duels and stuff, so we just try to silence the crowd and maybe they go against their team.
All right, we'll take questions now from Zoom. Frank, we'll start with you. He'll be followed by Sam Minton. Frank, you're unmuted.
Good. Yusuf, talk about Carlos. Carlos seemed frustrated after the last game, and Caleb said that everyone was frustrated by that loss. So just sort of how did you feel, and maybe how did the rest of the team feel, and how do you sort of come back from another loss?
It's not easy, of course. At the moment, it's a difficult moment that we're in, and then we just have to try to stay in it, not try to think too much about it. Of course, it's frustrating. Everyone was frustrated, especially after the solid performance we think we had the first half. But the most important thing is the next one, because the last one you cannot do anything about it. So it's just the next one.
Sam, we'll go to you.
And Yusuf, earlier in the week, Mamadou Fofana was kind of asked about Alan Oirowoff and him kind of leaning on some of his fellow African players to kind of guide him as he continues his journey as a pro. I would love to hear just, what's your relationship like with Alan, and overall, how have you seen him kind of grow, whether it be as a person or just as a player, since he first arrived in New England?
Yeah, we've been very close to each other, of course, but it's I think developing really well. Training with us, you can see his the intensity and trying to adapt the culture and everything. But I think he's been doing really well with the second team. But we just wait and see, what he can do. Maybe the games that are remaining, or maybe next year.
Emma, one more.
And Caleb brought up, you guys are confident on the road. You have been really strong on the road. So, just going back on the road now, how confident are you guys in, keeping that record strong?
Yeah, every point now for us is important. So for us, it doesn't matter home or away. It's the most important thing is try to get something from it. But as you mentioned, we've been really strong in the away games. So that's also something that we put in the back of our mind.